Bereshit, Genesis chapter 22, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham, and he said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Please take your son, your only one, whom you love, yea, Isaac, and go away to the land of Moriah, and bring him up there for a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will tell you. And Abraham arose early in the morning, and he saddled his donkey, and he took his 2 young men with him, and Isaac his son. He split wood for a burnt offering, and he arose and went to the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. And Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go yonder, and we will prostrate ourselves and return to you. And Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering, and he placed it upon his son Isaac. And he took into his hand the fire and the knife, and they both went together. And Isaac spoke to Abraham his father, and he said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Here are the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And they both went together. And they came to the place of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham built the altar there and arranged the wood, and he bound Isaac his son and placed him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slaughter his son. And an angel of God called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not stretch forth your hand to the lad, nor do the slightest thing to him. For now I know that you are a God-fearing man, and you did not withhold your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes, and he saw, and lo, there was a ram. And after that it was caught in a tree by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. And this is in verse 14 here. This is the difference I was noticing in translations. So I want to pause here on this to take a look. Chapter 22 in verse 14, it says, And Abraham named that place, The Lord will see. As it is said to this day, on the mountain, the Lord will be seen. But in my translation, the NIV Bible, let's see, where is it at? Okay. Right there in that first paragraph. So Abraham called that place, The Lord will provide. And to this day it is said, On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided. So I did want to notice that slight difference in translation. I always was told it was that he will provide. This here says, and Abraham named that place, The Lord will see. And as it is said to this day, on the mountain, the Lord will be seen. So just something to keep in mind. Verse 15, And an angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven. And he said, By myself have I sworn, says the Lord, that because you have done this thing, and you did not withhold your son, your only one, that I will surely bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens and as the sand that is on the seashore. And your descendants will inherit the cities of their enemies. And through your children shall be blessed all the nations of the world, because you hearkened to my voice. And Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham remained in Beersheba. And it came to pass, after these matters, that it was told to Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she also bore sons to Nahor, your brother. Uz, your firstborn, and Buz, your brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Kesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. Now, I do want to point out here, too, just something to know about the names when they translate them and they have a j sound. I want you guys to know that in Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, they did not have a j sound at all. So anytime you see a j, you're actually going to typically pronounce it with a y sound. Because they just simply didn't have the j. That's like with the name, the translation Jesus. That actually comes from the name Yeshua or Yehoshua. Then we have, what's another one? I'm not sure. But yeah, just keep in mind, ancient Hebrew did not have a j sound. So like, for instance, the name Jehovah, okay? It would be more accurate to say Yehovah, okay? Although you can read it a bunch of different ways because they don't have the vowel points on God's name. So without vowel points, it's like Yahweh or Yahweh. The V sound was originally a VW sound, like a VW, V sound. So a lot of people have just completely switched over to a W with the name of God, and that's why you hear Yahweh. So anyways, back on track. Verse 23. And Bethuel begot Rebekah. These 8 did Milcah bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, had also given birth to Tibah and Gaham and Tahash and Maacah.